Welcome to Trionic 7, the YouTube channel for Saab enthusiasts. If you're new to our channel, welcome, and if you're a returning visitor, welcome back. My name is Jonathan, and today I'm introducing our new car, this 2006 Saab 9.5 Vector SportCombi. You have probably already seen my red 9.5 Aero Combi. So my wife liked that car so much that she decided she wanted a 9.5 Combi too. So we went looking online, we looked at many cars, we didn't really find anyone that we liked. Either there were not the options we wanted, or there was in really bad condition. But this weekend we found this little beauty down in Halland in Sweden. We just bought the car a few days ago. We're just driven maybe 200 kilometers. We're still on the first tank of gas, so we're still learning about the ins and outs of this car. And the purpose of this video is to make an introduction before we start to do any work, so that we can introduce the car and then you'll be able to follow the progress here on our channel. So sit back and enjoy the video, because it's gonna be a long one. I'm starting with the outside first, bodywork and external accessories. Then we'll move inside. I'll start the car, take a short drive, look at the interior, look in the trunk. We'll just take a full tour of this car. The first thing you'll note is that this car is the facelift model from 06. And this was the last facelift of the original generation 9.5 that was between 2006 and 2010. Then after 2010 came the next generation 9.5, which is a completely overhauled car. Our other car, the red Aero, has a bright red color, so we wanted something that could complement that one. And my wife really wanted blue, so we were happy to find this nice metallic blue color. It's color code 300 Fusion Blue. It's got a nice metallic look to it, and I think the paintwork is actually in decent condition on this car. We still need to do some paint correction and some polishing, but that's to be expected from a 9-year-old car. I won't try to talk too much about the differences between pre and post facelift. I will do that in another video in more detail. But one thing you see about the facelift is that the plastic guards on the side as well as the door handles are all painted to match the color of the body. So everything blends together in the nice blue color. Going around to the back, we can see some of the first scratches. There are a few scratches, especially on the back side. Here you have something, it's actually through the clear coat. I can feel it with my nails. So we won't be able to correct this via polishing alone. Same thing for the back bumper. Luckily it's actually only on the bumper, but there's scratches on the edge here, down on the plastic bumper. Sorry, that's a bird in the background. Going around the tow hook, there's a number of scratches. The right hand side though looks pretty good. I don't see any scratches. Maybe there's some dings from maybe a shopping cart or something, but nothing major. I think we'll be able to get this car really clean and polished as soon as we get some work done on it. The front end looks good too. There are some very minor chips on the hood, but nothing that we can't fix easily. The badges are actually in really nice condition. I was surprised to see a used car 9 years old with perfect badges. I don't know if they've been replaced. They probably have, since the Saab badges usually go bad after a few years. And this is the front with the foglights, which looks really nice. It has the sport skirts on the front, on the side, and also on the back. If you look down on the side skirts, on the left side you will see a major scratch. Luckily that is only on the plastic skirt and not on the body panels itself. But I don't think we'll fix that. We're actually not too concerned with the scratches. This will mostly be a city driving car. Otherwise, the hood, the windshield wipers, the windscreen, the rearview mirrors, everything is in excellent shape. The windshield actually feels really nice and smooth. There's no scratching or no sanding that has been done from many years of driving, so it's actually very good. Same with the roof, and also think that the shark fin here at the end looks really good. This is something I'll need to look at though. Seems like the fender liner and the front quarter panel has been sort of separated. I'll probably just have to push the fender liner back with the hooks. I don't know why it's been released like this, but I'm not too concerned. So now we've seen the exterior and the nice blue metallic color. Let's move inside. And this is something we really liked when we saw the ad. These are bright full leather seats in quite good condition. Not perfect, but in good condition. We have the electric servos. You can move them around. You have memory. And now, this being my wife's car, she obviously has memory slot number 1. I'm relegated to number 2. Well, that's okay. On my Arrow, I'm number 1 and she's number 2, so I guess that works out fine. The doors are the same color trim. There's a same type of leather here as on the seats, but the rest of the doors are some kind of plastic, dark and dark gray material. And not only are the seats the full leather option, there are also the sport seats with these very nice side bolsters. Saab have always made excellent seats, especially their top of the line seats like these sport seats, and you sit extremely comfortable even when turning or driving sort of inspired. They used to actually keep you very comfortable. I am 1.93 meters tall, which is quite tall even here in Sweden. And I often have trouble sitting comfortably in many cars, even bigger cars. But here in a Saab, you can see this is the position I'm sitting in. The seat moves back so much further than what I'm sitting on. So, and I also can move the seat upwards and downwards, so I don't hit the headliner, which is very nice. So even though I'm a tall guy, there's even more room to spare. So I guess if you're 2 meters tall, a Saab will fit you very nicely. Generally, the seats are in quite good condition. The driver's seat is of course the worst because that's the one that's been worn the most. It's getting slightly dry, not really cracked, but dryish, and there's also some light marks here. They're not really scuff marks, they're just probably dried out. Obviously, one of the first things we'll need to do is to give it a full interior clean and detail, and give the leather a nice treatment to keep it this condition for many years to come. The passenger seat though seems to be in almost perfect condition. There's one minor scratch here on the bottom, but that's basically it. It looks really good, and of course these seats are also heated. This is a standard option on the Saab 9.5, and this will keep you warm during the winters. Moving on to the steering wheel, since this car is a Vector car with the Vector package, it has this leather steering wheel with these notches and the seam on the inside. Extremely nice steering wheel, nice to grab onto during long drives. It also has these buttons that control the radio and the Saab information display, information, clear, source and radio buttons here. This is really the condition we bought the car in. It's a little dusty and we have to do some cleaning, but this is the way we got it. This is the big stereo, and it also has a CD changer with a load button here. So you can fit 6 CDs in here, and it's a 200 watt premium sound system with a subwoofer in the trunk. I can't show you right now how the stereo sounds like because of copyright, but it's an okay sound system and you get a little bass punch from the subwoofer. Automatic climate control is of course standard, heated seats for passenger and driver, heated rear view mirrors, and also a quintessential Saab cup holder. If you haven't seen a Saab car before, this is probably something that will surprise you the most. Just look at that design. This car is of course a manual. It's what we wanted and what we were looking for. 5-speed gearbox. You also have the button to lock and unlock all the doors. And here's yet another Saab quirkiness. The key is located between the seats. The idea is if something happens and you're in a collision, the key, which is usually located here, won't be forced into your knee, causing major knee damage. I think it was pretty nice of them. And also, since we have the key in here, you also lock the shift lever in reverse. So to be able to shift the car out from reverse, you need to unlock the key first. This car is equipped with the xenon light system, which means there's no height adjustment here. Also, one requirement for finding this car was that it should have ESP. Obviously all model year 06 and onwards have ESP as standard, but I think this is a really important thing when we're driving in the Swedish winters. Front fog lights, of course, and then also night panel. Looking upwards, we have the rear view mirror, and this is the standard non-auto dimming one. We have the little airplane looking light you can turn on like this. We also have the normal lights in the roof. I had to switch out this light bulb because it was broken when we bought it. Of course, also sun visors, 2 of them on each side. This is not standard, it's extra accessory. Same thing on the passenger side. It's a little dirt that we need to get away. Mirror with lights, and also the double flap here. And one of the few things we don't have on this car is a sunroof, but the sunroof is extremely rare on a Swedish car, even on the Saabs. Another safety feature are the electric rear view mirrors. They're also heated for the winter time, and the end of the mirror is actually curved outwards to eliminate the dead angle when changing lanes on the highway. Then to the left we have the turn indicators, but also the cruise control. We have the dash instrument panel. On this side we have the window wipers for the front windshield and the rear window, and also the rain sensor, which is an optional extra that this car is equipped with. One of the things we'll obviously need to fix is this keychain that we got from the previous owner. This is unacceptable. We can't have a Toyota keychain on the Saab key. That's just bad. Let's turn the ignition on. I won't start the engine yet. I just want to show the instrument cluster. Obviously, since the car isn't running, you see the battery warning light, the check engine light, oil warning light, and since we're parked, also the parking light. You can see that the engine has traveled around 200,000 kilometers. We'll probably pass through 200,000 shortly. But the important thing is, of course, the xenon warning light. If I turn the ignition off and then on, listen to this. There's a chugga sound going on in the background. And that's because there's a fault in the xenon system, and I'm pretty sure it's the rear load angle sensor that we need to replace. I've already ordered one from a guy who's breaking his car up in Stockholm. I'll probably receive the sensor in a few days. The rear seats are also full leather. They're in excellent condition. I'm not even sure that they've ever been used. They're just a little bit dusty. So you see 3 rear seats, all with seat belts, of course. The middle seat can be folded down like this to make an armrest, and also 2 cup holders here in the middle. These seats are split folding, so you can fold down this seat separately from the other 2. You can also fold up the seats on the bottom, fold them up to the front, fold down the seats, and you can make a flat storage space all the way to the trunk, which gives you excellent storage capacity. Another extra of this car is that it has heated rear seats. So you can push this button here and you will get nice and toasty here in the back as well. Of course, also you have vents here, one for each passenger, and also you can also turn them on and off. Currently the car has rubber floor mats, Saab original. We also have textile floor mats, but they're probably not OEM. One thing I did find here in the rear seat was a small ding in the paint. This is probably caused by the seat belt sometime being stuck and the door was closed. Note that here in front of the wheel wells there's no dreaded rust on the dog legs. Usually on Saabs of this age you will start to see rust here. There's no rust on the dog legs, which I'm extremely happy for. If we open up the gas cap, we'll also find everything in nice condition, and these are one of the few rust spots. Just on the inside lip here there's a tiny bit of rust, but there's nothing inside the gas cap. You can also see how dirty this is. This will of course need to be taken care of shortly. Another common spot for rust here on the 9.5s is this little part, the lowest part before the plastic bumper starts. If I run my finger I can feel a slight indentation here. Maybe there's something coming in the future, but there's no rust at all here. Here's another thing I wanted for the car. a tow hook. This is always very useful for a daily driver if we want to go shopping on IKEA or something like this. As I said, there's some dings here on the rear bumper. They're just superficial and of course won't cause rust since this is plastic. Another requirement we had for the car was we have rear PDC. The Saab 9.5 does have quite bad vision backwards if you have a wagon, so the parking assist really helps when parking in tight parking spots downtown. Here in the back you'll of course see that the rear window is heated. You can really feel that the Saabs are equipped for heavy winter driving as standard equipment. You can also see that there's a plastic cover missing here on the wiper arm. We will have to fix this and find the cap somewhere, and also put a new nut back in because this has been rusted quite badly. Up on the roof we of course have the rails. You can put a ski box on top of here or load stuff on the roof, which is excellent because we will probably need that in the future. One thing we'll need to look at is this rear window seal. It's getting bad. I just pushed it back, but you can see a small discoloration on the inside. I don't know if this is serious or not, but we'll have to look into it some more. Let's go check out the engine. This is a Saab 2.0 Biopower car, which means that it runs on ethanol, E85, as well as normal gasoline. It's a 4-cylinder, directly injected, dual overhead camshaft engine with a turbocharger. And yes, you're absolutely right, this is the base model of the engine, the 2.0 liter Biopower. But it's a good engine, we're not complaining. My wife didn't really need that extra horsepower. She said she'd rather have all the options than a strong engine. And anyway, we can put a tune on it in the future if we would like. Under this heat shield you can find the turbo. This is a small GT7 turbo that's present in the non-aero models of the 9.5. This has a tendency to break after a while. Let's hope it is still a long way to go. You might be wondering why the strut mounts seem to be so sticky. And that's because a few years ago this car was treated with an anti-rust treatment on the undercarriage. So everything was cleaned out, all the rust was taken away, and then they were coating the car with this oily stuff. It's extremely sort of sticky and like a thick residue, and this protects the car against rust, which is extremely good in a country like Sweden where we have lots of snow and lots of salt in the winter. So hopefully this has done a good job of protecting the undercarriage from rust. And as you can see, the engine bay needs a good cleaning. This will of course be taken care of soon. Otherwise, the engine looks good. There's no obvious problems with it. Also the liner looks good. There's no rust on the inside of the hood, which we saw on too many of the cars that we looked at. So, let's go on. Under the front license plate there's a little connector, and this is for the electric engine heater as well as the electric outlet on the passenger side footwell. This will be really nice for the winter. We can connect our car to the electric outlet, and a few hours before we want to go to work the power goes on and heats up the engine and also the passenger side. As I said before, this car has xenon headlights, which gives excellent view in the nighttime. And even though we have to change the rear load angle sensors, the rest of the system works perfectly. Let's open the trunk. Press this button. Turn signals flash 3 times, and then we can open it with a button and it goes up. I'm currently transporting some tools because I'll be doing some work on this car in the next few days. You can see the parcel shelf, and this whole wagon trunk space is pretty big. You can really fit a lot of stuff in here, especially since the threshold is very low. There's nothing you need to carry it over. And also, if you fold down the rear seat, which is standard on a 9.5, you will get an extra long storage space. You can fit things like furniture and stuff without much of a trouble. On the right hand side, come on, it's getting very dark here. On the right hand side you can see the subwoofer in the right storage compartment. On the left there's a normal storage compartment. And everything here looks really good. You can see the paintwork. It looks immaculate, nice and blue. And this is the way we bought it. We haven't even touched it yet. We'll do some more cleaning to get it really nice and shiny. Well, we're very satisfied. The wheels that are currently on are 17-inch Bridgestone tires on Saab original rims. We're not really that excited about these rims, but my wife really likes the ALU39 Aero rims that are stock on the Red Arrow. So in a few weeks we'll put on the winter tires. Of course there will be even more boring rims, but then for the summer we'll put these tires back on the Aero rims, which will make it look much better. You can also see that these rims are in very bad condition. A lot of scuff marks and haven't really been taken care of that well. Now you might ask, is there anything that needs to be done to this car? And the answer is yes, but not very much. There's a knocking in the steering wheel that you can feel while driving. At first I thought it was going to be something in the suspension, but the more I've driven it today, the more I've come to the conclusion it's probably just the splined joint in the steering column that needs some more grease. You can check out my other video about greasing the splined joint. I'll put a link down in the description. Then of course there's also the problem with the xenon system, but that will be fixed soon. In addition to that, the left rearview mirror is getting wobbly under load, or when we're driving on the highway. Probably this is just that the glue is getting bad and we will need to fix this soon. Another thing which is still unknown is that the rear suspension is a bit squeaky. It might be something with the bushings, but we'll have to find out soon. Also, the car needs to go into inspection within the next 6 weeks. But I'm not overly concerned about that because I've looked through the car and everything looks really good. Okay, let's start her up. Even though this is the base engine model, I think the car has a really nice torque curve anyway. It's a lot of fun to drive. No, it's not an Aero, of course. The Aero has got immensely more power. It's a 149 horsepower if you fill it up with normal gasoline, 95 octane. But since this is the Biopower model, you can also fill it up with E85. And since E85 has a much higher octane rating, the car can put much better use of the fuel. And in that case, with E85 you get 180 horsepower. So it's 31 extra horsepower just by choosing a better fuel. And of course, the Biopower model has almost half the tax here in Sweden. 1,500 Swedish kronor every year. That's maybe 170 euros, which is quite a nice and low tax for a car that weighs 1.8 tons and has 180 horsepower engine, which is really good. Of course, if you want to do some modding and tuning to a car, I would almost suggest that you start with a 2.0 or 2.3 liter Biopower model, since they have low tax rates and low insurance rates. Then you just switch out some components in the car, maybe the brakes, the clutch, maybe also the turbo. And since the Biopower models are actually already E85 converted, they have the reinforced tanks and the fuel lines and the brass fittings instead of metal, you can actually get a really good car. And of course, this is a Saab. A Saab is very much tunable. See some traffic here in the front. So you can actually have a lot of fun modding a Saab, even though it's just a base model. What you do want though is a car like this, with loads of options, leather seats that you can sit nicely in, xenon lights, and so on. We're really happy that we found this car. We were looking for quite a while. We saw many ads. Not many of them really fitted our requirements, but this one did. We bought the car from a very nice couple down in Holland, in Sweden. They were actually the second owner, and they've had the car for 7 years and taken care of it pretty well. That's a big contrast to all the crappy cars that we saw with 9, 10, 12 owners previously. So we're actually the third owner, or fourth owner if you count the dealer that sold the car to the one we bought it from, but I don't really count that as an owner. So we're the third owner in 9 years, which is actually quite good. The car was originally bought by a dentist, used it as a lease car for about 2 or 3 years in the beginning. They drove it many miles along the highway, back and forth. But they, of course, serviced it very well during that time. So what about future plans? Well, of course, that's up to my wife to decide, since it's her car. But we will, of course, fix some of the outstanding issues, such as the steering wheel. We'll take a look at the xenon system. We'll make the car pass inspection. And then I will start his life as a nice daily driver for my wife. We are extremely happy with this car. We really like the blue paint. We like the light colored leather interior. This car looks really beautiful when standing next to my red Arrow. They really complement each other. Of course, I'll install a P-bus connector in the OBD port. Check my other video on that. I will install a spare ECU and enable OpenSID, just like I did with the Arrow. Of course, it's a separate video for that too. Also, of course, there will be a Foglight modification, just like on the Arrow. There's a separate video for that as well. And of course, one of the most important reasons for us getting a Saab 9.5 is safety. They say that no one understood why Saabs were so expensive until you crashed them. Because they've always had a very good reputation of being safe. It's been an integral part of the design process for a long time, longer than most car manufacturers. And this model has, of course, ESP, it has airbags, it has all the winter options you'll need for the Swedish winter, and so on. Mechanically, this car is in perfect working order. The engine works fine, the gearbox is tight, so there's nothing we need to worry about there. Also, since the body is almost rust-free, just a very minor thing on the back, we can really hope that this car will last us for a long time, even though it will be a daily driver all year round in the salty winters of Sweden. If you watched this video and felt that you want to showcase your car on this channel, give me a message on Facebook and we can talk about it. I really want to involve more people in producing content for this channel, so just send a message to me and we can talk about it. So this was the introductory video for our new Fusion Blue Saab 9.5 Vector model year 06 2.0 liter turbo Biopower. I will create a separate playlist for this car so you can follow the ongoing work. Otherwise, leave a comment if you want to participate in the discussion, or if you have suggestions, leave them below. This has been yet another video from Trionic 7, which is the YouTube channel for Saab enthusiasts. Join our community. You can subscribe to our channel here on YouTube or follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. We're also on Google Plus and Instagram. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this very long video. If you watched to the end, well, congratulations. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.